Hello and welcome everybody to another StarCraft 2 cast by Glitch. Today I'm bringing to you a PvP on Nerazim Crypt. Spawning here in the bottom right corner as the red Protoss, we have Team Liquid's HuK. Spawning in the top left corner as the blue Protoss, we have we have Forte. Forte spawning as the blue Protoss. I have no idea how to say this guy's name whatsoever. I have no idea what the heck this guy's name is, so I'm just gonna call him Forte the whole time. I just really wanted to cast a HuK game. I haven't casted a HuK game in a while, and I love to watch HuK play, and so I also haven't casted a PvP in a while, so I thought this would be a good choice as a game to cast. I believe this was just a game played over Battle.net, that this is not any special game played out of a tournament, but I'm hoping for a really good game nonetheless. Now this is an interesting map that I haven't played a whole lot yet on, even on ladder. For some reason I haven't played on this map too much. It does have some interesting dynamics just because each of the bases, your main base is just so long. As you can see, it's huge. It's ridiculously long, and I know that this is a very, very viable ledge for doing some warp-ins. If you can sneak an early pylon up here on the high ground, or even on the low ground, get a zealot up this ramp and warp up onto the high ground, this is a very, very strong map for doing warp-ins onto the high ground, just because there's so much area over here in which that your opponent can warp in on. So the other thing about this map is the positioning of the third. This base has a very, very interesting position for taking a third base. Yeah, your natural is pretty easily defended. It's here, it's got a kind of wide choke that actually can be widened further by these destructible rocks. And you also have an interesting dynamic in that there's this very long patch of high grass here that prevents any kind of vision from either side unless you have a unit on the other side of the map. That makes for protecting this expansion a very interesting kind of, you always want to keep vision on this side of the grass there, because otherwise you just won't know that a force is coming until it is literally at your door. Both players right now just expanding. We do have one gas going up for HuK, and looks like on the Forte side of things we only have one gas up as well. We do have a cybernetics core coming down for both players. HuK's is a little bit ahead. Now, there is one thing that you always need to watch out for in PvP, or, I mean, in any matchup, really, and that is a 4-gate. And the way you can tell if your opponent is going for a 4-gate, one big indicator is only one gas. You get up that cybernetics core and you stick to only one gas. For a lot of builds call for getting, right after your cybernetics core, you get a second gas, but in a 4-gate, you typically do not get your second gas, and the other indicator is the energy on the nexus. If you go and scout your opponent and you only see one gas, and you see a lot of energy being saved up on your nexus, that is almost always a sure sign that you have a 4-gate coming up your way, because he is saving up that chrono boost to get that warp gate tech out fast. Now, this has been scouted by Forte, so it looks like he is also going to be chrono boosting out his warp gate research as quick as he can. He's trying to get up as many gateways as he can. He has now seen that several units are now moving across the map for LiquidHuK. So it looks like he's going to be able to try to defend this. He's going to be very careful. There is one probe that does get taken down actually for LiquidHuK, so HuK was not able to place his forward pylon. He's going to have to set out another one, but we do have the other gateways now coming down, and it looks like HuK has actually decided to just go for a 3-gate robo style of play. He has not actually thrown down any kind of an expansion yet. Has thrown down 2 more gateways, but it doesn't look like he's going to be going for that 4-gate. You have, as you can see, he has thrown down his third gas. Or his second gas, rather. In the main of Forte, looks like Forte has also not thrown down an expansion, but he is expecting that 4-gate, so he has actually thrown down a 4th gateway. This is going to be, and he's actually now throwing down a Twilight Council. This is actually going to be very interesting. He does have his second gas now up. So it looks like both players, neither player is going to be going for at least an immediate 4-gate. Forte is coming around to the third of HuK with this probe. He might be dropping down a pylon so that he can warp in units to the back of HuK, but it's more likely that he's just going to be checking for expansions at this point. Now, HuK does have an observer now coming out. I don't know if there was any particular reason he stopped going for that 4-gate. He did have the tech up, and he did save up a lot of energy on that Nexus, and he's actually storing up quite a bit of energy right now on his Nexus. He has a ton of energy. He's about to max out on that energy, and just now spends it right before he gets to 100. It looks like he is spending it on getting that Blink research, so it looks like we're going to be seeing that Blink Stalker play from LiquidHuK. This is a very common style of play. Huck does tend to favor that Blink Stalker style of play. He's placing a lot of forward pylons right now. Looks like he is going to be trying to go for a little bit of aggression here early on in this game. Several units now moving across the map. It looks like a small composition of Zealots and Sentries. Looks like he's probably going to be warping in more Stalkers into the main. He's trying to poke into the base as much as he can with these forward Stalkers. All the rest of his units are coming around from the back. Going to try to get a surround on those units, or maybe not. Maybe he's just going to pull back. I'm not sure how I feel about this pullback here from Huck. He does have a lot of Zealots here to take a lot of damage. Very nice force fields there going down for Huck. Manages to split off some of the forces of Forte, and Forte's force is actually not all attacking right now. He's actually missing out on a lot of damage there. More Stalkers joining the fight now for LiquidHuK. More forces streaming in. But it looks like Forte, even with Huck's Blink Micro, it looks like he might be able to take out all of these forces. Looks like, yes, indeed, I think Forte is going to be able to take this down. Both Stalkers being blinked back. Very nice Blink Micro from both players now. But it looks like Huck is now being forced to retreat, warping in more Blink Stalkers on the high ground. Looks like he is now forced into a defensive position as Forte has now placed a forward pylon. Looks like he's going to be trying to come in with a lot of Blink Stalkers of his own. And looks like Huck is not getting anything out of that robotics facility to try to counter. I wouldn't be surprised to see him start to throw down some Immortals, as those Immortals are very, very good counters to those Stalkers, especially in the early game. But right now, it looks like Huck is going to be content to just warp in a lot of Stalkers and try to just hold this high ground. He does see that there are these forward pylons going down for Forte. Forte is ahead also in the food count, 57 to 44 food right now. Not a good place for Huck. If we check out the Harvester tab right now, we can see that Forte is even 2 Harvesters ahead on the Harvester count. So, looks like we are going to have a bit of an engagement here on the ramp. Huck doing the best he can to try to warp, blink back his Stalkers, but these Stalkers of Forte do have Blink, and they are now blinking up into the main of LiquidHuK. Looks like Huck is going to be trying to hold this off as best as he can, but this late 4-gate, almost like a very late 4-gate push here from Forte, looks like it is going to be able to do massive damage to Huck, and Huck does GG out of the game. So we did have a very interesting style of play there from Forte. It was almost a delayed 4-gate. He countered Huck's, I believe he assumed that Huck was going to be going for a 4-gate, and so one of the best ways to counter a 4-gate is to get a 4-gate of your own, so he did get up his own 4 gateways, but when he saw that Huck wasn't pushing out with his own 4-gate, decided to just push with a late 4-gate push of his own and was able to overwhelm the forces of LiquidHuK. So very well played game there by Forte. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, please comment, please subscribe, let me know what I can do to make these casts better for you, and yeah, keep watching guys. That is it for me. Glitch out.